I can hear the cheering of the Marvel Snap community already. Leader is dead, Leader is dead, we don't have to worry about playing around Leader anymore. If you watched yesterday's initial thoughts about the patch, you'll know this kind of change to Leader very much caught me off guard. I didn't expect the change to 7 power alongside the change to his effect to only copying one lane. And that kind of got me thinking. I don't think that this card is necessarily unplayable right now. In fact, I think this is more of a side grade than a downgrade in terms of Leader. But I wasn't really sure how to utilize Leader's new card and figure out where its strengths may now lie. Funnily enough, nerfs weren't the only thing that happened yesterday. In fact, the series drop was possibly the thing more people were looking forward to in the most recent patch, including myself. I went straight to my shop and found the Shuri that I had had pinned there for a long time, which I could now afford because it was available in series number 4 instead of 5. And that's what got me thinking. Maybe the key to Leader now is to be able to utilize him in a shell alongside a card like Shuri. If we can lock off a few locations and kind of control where our opponent is able to play, Shuri doubling up Leader provides us with a 14 power card in one location and mirrors the other on the final turn of the game. I think that might be quite good. Introducing you to ShuriLeader Midrange. So, full disclaimer first of all, this is very much a work in progress, but it is essentially a good cards deck, so I don't think this one can actually ever be that bad. The cards you're playing are very, very strong, so I expect it to perform quite well, even if the theory doesn't quite pan out over the course of these games. That being said, let me break this one down for you. First of all, we'll talk about the very obvious Zabu package. Zabu will be adjusted sometime next week, so we'll revisit this deck once it has been to see whether this is still something that we want to do. But for now, the card is still the way it is, and we'll be using it as such. We already want to play Shuri thanks to our end game plan that we intend on working around, so what are the other 4-cost cards that we're interested in playing? Well, Absorbing Man Spider-Man is the perfect 1-2 punch for the kind of game plan we're looking to achieve. Even if we can't always Zabu them both out to lock our opponent out of playing the game, we want to be able to control where our opponent is able to play in this deck to make sure that Leader is able to get full value out of his new effect. Rescue is the one that seems a little bit odd here, but if you're a regular of the stream, you'll know I've been toying around with this one for quite some time, and how it plays with Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is a card I'm interested in for this deck because of how it plays with Shuri, and the fact we're looking to lock off locations and deny permission to our opponent over the course of a game. These are all things that Captain Marvel is interested in, especially when she has 12 power. Rescue is a 4-cost card that allows you to play Captain Marvel next to it to gain additional stats, but not have to commit those stats to the same location as Rescue if you do so. I think this is mostly an underexplored 1-2 punch that I'm looking forward to seeing more of in this deck and more going forward. Aero very much falls into the good card role here. It plays very well with Shuri. 14 power is certainly nothing to turn your nose up at, and it is still a very, very strong effect that is very unique in Marvel Snap. Cosmo and Armor are our interactive tech cards of choice. I think for the most part this deck should be a little bit worried about decks like Galactus, which make Cosmo an interesting choice to me, much like it is against decks like Silver Surfer. Armor is mostly just the best in slot 2-drop card right now, but this will give you more game against things that contain Bucky Barnes or Killmonger if you so wish, and can be awfully helpful at keeping an Ebony Maw safe if you manage to sequence things in the correct order. Speaking of Ebony Maw, I think this is actually one of my favourite interesting inclusions in this deck, truth be told. For the most part, this gives us a little bit of extra game against a card like Leech, which is cherries on the top of an already existing cake. For the most part, the plan here is to set up Ebony Maw in the right location of the game board. If we play it there early, our opponent will expect to be able to win that location late by committing to it whenever they might very well get around to it. And that is the plan when we intend on playing a Leader in the middle lane and copying all those things over on the final turn of the game. Lastly, we've got Lizard in here just again as a very good statted 2-drop that gives us reveal priority going into our Cosmo and Shuri turns to make sure that we aren't getting punked by our opponent's anti-meta cards. I'm looking forward to continuing to work on this deck and seeing if it has what it takes to hang in Marvel Snap. But let me know what you think about this archetype in theory, even before you watch the games. Leave a comment for me down below with your initial thoughts when you first saw it, and if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel while you're down there, and like the video to make sure that we can reach more and more people and decrease the chances that my boss fires me. With all that said and done, let's take a look at some of the games we played with this one and show you exactly how it works. Okay. I am fairly curious to see what we can do with this one. Just a forewarning here, folks. Unfortunately, your boy is quite full of a cold right now, so I do have a cough sweet in my mouth. I'll try and keep it to a minimum. You can hear that I'm blocked up. Hopefully that doesn't ruin your Marvel Snap experience too much, but thank you for bearing with me while we power through the fun part of winter. Okay, so a bit of an interesting spot here, actually. I kind of want to set this Ebony Moor up already, off to the left. Try and set up this ShuriLeader situation in the middle and win 2 lanes that way. Alternatively, we can just Lizard here if we don't expect ourselves to want to play Cosmo. I think I'm just setting up the Ebony Moor for the most part. Get our plan underway. Well, that paid off in spades. We're not going to get to do the 1-2 plan that we expected here, where we were going to look to Shuri on 5, Leader middle on 6, and copy the right, but we should hopefully be good in Luke's bar as a result. So let's just go. Do we want a Cosmo? I think there's a good chance we still want a Leader. And if that's the case, we should definitely Cosmo mid, because we're not going to need to Leader mid anymore to fill in Luke's bar. We're almost certainly going to need to Leader left to fill in the middle. Okay, so we're going to go Rescue into Crimson Cosmos, into Shuri, into Leader. Is the plan at the moment. I think I'm going to snap. A little scared of this lockjaw, but hopefully shouldn't be too bad. Opponent just takes the pass, sure. Alright, Shuri it is over here in the Crimson Cosmos, and we'll get ourselves a 14 power Leader in the middle. Yeah, definitely, maybe not a 14 power Leader here. It's possible we do something else if we draw it, like Captain Marvel or Arrow. Just because I think there's a good chance this lockjaw kind of fizzles the plan of the Leader in the middle. Because like they'll just I suppose it depends if we have reveal priority, right? But they might just end up pulling up bigger stuff. We should still win Luke's bar anyway, a number of the time. Put it with the Jane Foster. Okay, so this is going to be a big turn for them. Like we're going to get a Wasp, basically. So now the question we have is, do we just want to make a 12 power Captain Marvel that gives us a load of flexibility? Or do we just do the 14 power Leader and assume that we get to win mid? Yeah, okay. I think the lockjaw means that we're supposed to Captain Marvel there. But I actually think that's a super interesting choice. A lot of moving pieces as to what we could do. The Shuri definitely gave us a lot of options following the rescue, which was very, very cool. I am sadly a human being who is susceptible to illness. Okay, so Sinister London is going to be a pretty fruity one for Shuri. And for Spider-Man. So drawing the Zabu here would be pretty disgusting, I think. Never mind. TVA says otherwise. We're just going to start throwing things into Sinister London. Because we are going to need to win 2 locations real quick. And our deck is not the best at that. I suppose Ebony Moor or Lizard might very well be our best draw here. Alas, none of the above. We're just going to make multiple Cosmos. I think we're probably going to have to get out of here on this one. Deck is obviously not built to win by turn 4. TVA not the best of locations for us as a result. Opponent will wave. That makes things interesting.
Time's up.
That really does make things interesting. So I think we got to take the gamble, get lucky, right? We just Arrow Sinister London and hope it flips into Sewer System. Wow, opponent played a Galactus anyway.
Galactus.
Means that we are still playing 2 more turns of the game. So I guess we were actually a little bit unlucky that the Cosmo didn't flip to the empty location, right? But I mean, we're just going to Spider-Man here and hope that we get there.
Friendly neighborhood Spider.
Yep. Leech no good. Leech not matter when you can't play to the location. Very, very smooth. not how I thought a TVA game was going to go, but instead ending on turn 5 instead of ending on turn number 4. Excuse me. Okay. Pretty reasonable start here, actually. Normally I would Ebony more right because of the way we intend to play with leader, but in the case of Kiln, I think I'm just going to get this in here and not worry about having to play anything else into the location over the course of the game. The Nexus rewards me for that quite succinctly. Okay. This hand is pretty good. Good chance if we draw a 4-cost card that I am going to be snapping. Opponent plays a lizard off into Kiln. Sure thing. We gain a Xandar, which we do, so we're going to be snapping. We do kind of want to draw another 4 or 2 ideally because we would like to keep Spider-Man for turn 5. Opponent does the work for us. Now we don't even have to save it for turn 5, which is even better. Wow, okay. So we're just going to go rescue Spider-Man here. And then Spider-Man again. With the Absorbing Man. And it should be quite hard to lose this one. We can even then Shuri into Thing on turn 6 if we really want to. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Alternatively, we can just Shuri next to Absorbing Man, then play a 14 power arrow on turn 7. It's pretty good. But with the Mojo. Mojo's not going to get the chance to do anything here. We are just going to be locking this one off. They're looking to lock it off again. Pretty disgusting. This is definitely something we've seen from a number of the Spider-Man, the Zabu decks so far. It's kind of fallen off a bit in the favour of Darkhawk and other big stats and stuff, but, you know, turns out Spider-Man, Absorbing Man, still pretty gross. Especially when the Nexus is a location you have to worry about. Opponent will get Fantastic. It's a pretty good one. And a Nightcrawler that they can move into the Nexus. Okay. They're putting up a fight. Alright, well that's just otherworldly levels of rude, isn't it? Yeah.
Victory.
The leader, mostly unnecessary there, but the 14 power leader that would also copy anything they could play, literally they could play ever because they only have one location available to them. Pretty darn gross. Alright, we'll go for the plan here, in which case let's set up the Ebony Maw on the right hand side to facilitate that. The lovely leader play that we're looking to facilitate on a regular basis. Plunder Castle does come on up. It's pretty rough for us, unfortunately, to have it in the middle here. Definitely a bit of guesswork involved with Ebony Maw on the current location being featured. Necrotia, sure. So we'll just Zabu. Thankfully, the leader still works here because of Plunder Castle.
Enough said, bub.
We do need to find it though for that to work. So I think what we do is we go. So we got to find the leader here. But what we're supposed to do is go Spider-Man into Arrow.
Friendly neighborhood neighborhood Spider-Man here.
No play from the opponent. Okay.
Opponent snap.
They snapped and I have reveal priority. Well, I'm going to try and make their life a living hell.
Snap.
Let's disco. You can't play into Fist Tower and I have reveal priority, so I'm about to completely ruin your day. Whatever this thing might be. And then the intention is just to do it again. Oh, buddy. No. I thought that M'Baku had just cost me a game.
Victory.
There you go. 8 cubes from Zabu Aero shenanigans. Leader picking up the boosters. Look at him. Look at him doing this thing. Deck has been very reasonable. I feel like I'm going to be playing this one on the stream a bit tonight against people. So we do have our Captain Marvel... Sorry, our ShuriLeader combo in hand. We can, of course, Shuri Captain Marvel instead if we prefer. So let's set this up to try and score the weird-ass leader in the middle. Opponent will Quinjet. Okay, you're going to set the Cosmo up over here on Starlight Citadel. Stuff will be swapping in a moment. We're going to go Shuri into Captain Marvel into Leader here, is the plan. I thought my opponent might have like a She-Hulk or something here. We'll see. But well, Shang-Chi takes our monster away. A little unfortunate, but sure. We could have protected that, honestly. We could have chose to Cosmo the monster lane instead, but I didn't really have Shang-Chi on the mind. Definitely punishes me a little bit. So let's just go 12 power Captain Marvel into Leader, I think. It should give us a reasonable bit of flexibility as to where we can win on this final turn. I like this quite a lot, actually. We're kind of like secretly simultaneously playing to all the lanes. Because if we lead a mid, like the Captain Marvel can help us win mid if Leader doesn't do it by itself. And it can also help us win Starlight Citadel if our opponent doesn't play over there. So this should be quite interesting. I am pretty sure this works. Nice. Look at that. Basically exactly how we drew it up.
Victory.
That is Leader doing his thing. Not being doubled by a Shuri, mind you, but Captain Marvel giving us loads of flexibility about how we win lanes there, which you love to see. Okie dokie. Once more into the breach. Let's see what we can do. Wakanda Forever early is fine by me. Ooh. Thanos nonsense from our opponent. You'll have to see it. Crimson Cosmos is also fine for us. So, no big deal there. Let's Lizard over here in Wakanda. Excuse me. Leader mid could be pretty good this game. Soulstone. So, opponent's going to turn off this Lizard basically always, but that's fine. Ugh, Plunder Castle? Dude, my opponent's going to be in trouble here. They basically cannot play the game. We're not much better off, in fairness, but we can at least play into Crimson Cosmos a little more easily. So I think what we do is we go... What do we go? I think it's just rescue ShuriLeader a lot of the time. Opponent has filled up Wakanda, sure. Their Space Stone is live and ready to go. So they can move stuff across here. So I think this is what we're doing. Triggering the rescue. And then we can beat the Plunder Castle with Leader here, right? Devil, Dinosaur, mid. That's not what we were hoping to see. Oh my god, seriously? We gain a dino? Well, that wasn't what we were trying to do.
Victory.
But boy, howdy did it work. And we just have a 14 power arrow still? Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Reality Stone causing some shenanigans. For sure. Okay, so I think overall, this deck is probably still a work in progress. I think it's hard for a good card shell to be too bad. But I think people were being a bit aggressive in writing off Leader. Hopefully these games can kind of show you some of the shenanigans that Leader is capable of putting together. Because you can still do things with this card. It's not quite as innocuous as its previous version. It actually kind of plays mostly differently than its previous version. But I think these good card shells, there's going to be versions of them, especially versions with Shuri, that still might want this card, might want to experiment with it. So I look forward to playing this more and finding out whether or not that is the case moving forward. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to let me know so I can do more styles like this in the future. Again, apologies for the illness. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, press the button for me down below, leave a comment, let me know what you thought, and like it while you're down there. But until next time, I've been HowlingMines, you've been amazing, and this has been Marvel Snap Zone. Take care, have a good one.